couple of months as we had hoped. Ms. Loretta Adderson spoke to 4 grades in the elementary school on the base, and she reported back to us that when she asked the question, are any of you interested in farming, excuse me, in farming, about 25% of the classrooms overall raised their hands that they would be interested in learning about farming. And that's a number that surprised her, and it surprised our group as well. We also had one of our guests, Mr. Lee, that is sitting with the Addersons, and he came on their invitation. He shared with you that he is a sustainable farmer as opposed to organic or certified naturally grown. But he has a lot that he's growing. And one of the things that we discussed in our group is the cost to a farmer such as Mr. Lee transitioning to organic or certified naturally grown. He's not opposed to it, it's just that it's not an easy transformation. So it's possible that this group could even begin working on some of the legislation that monitors the groups who actually produce the non-organic pesticides and so forth. Big item, but we want to think big. And the last thing that came out of our group that was so good was Mr. Ibarra suggested that his wife gets called all the time to be a speaker to schools and church groups and just garden clubs. And Kim Hines does a lot of speaking to the garden clubs, but we don't have a network of speakers that someone can say, oh yes, Miss Loretta Adderson is in Burke County, she could come and speak to your group. Or John Ritchie is in Richmond County, he could come and speak to your group. And so we would like him, if you could possibly create or show us how to create a list of willing speakers that can be available to anyone to access.
Yeah. Woo, like a speaker. Very good.
All right, well, I'm with group 3. One of the brainstorming ideas that we have had was to make food more accessible to people, not only with cooking and the nutrition aspect, but I think we're missing a big piece of the puzzle from growing it to cooking it is prepping it. A lot of people don't have good knives to cut their food. They don't know how to cut a sweet potato. They don't know how to peel a sweet potato. They don't know how to peel a turnip. So what we've decided was at the farmers market on Saturdays downtown was to set up a prepping station. I have experience as an executive chef, pastry chef, and tons of prepping hours that I feel pretty confident with a couple of maybe volunteers from the local Helms College. They want to get them knife skills in to help make it more, help make food become something that is not time consuming at home. So we were going to make a trip to the next market. The next market is March 19th, and we're going to just kind of assess the situation, see what the farmers are bringing in, see what we want to prep, depending on what's the most available produce. We'll come in and say, all right, we're going to do collard greens today, we're going to chop collard greens, and then we're going to have the other piece that's going to be, this is the food safety, this is how you cook it, this is the nutrition, and all that go with it. What else? We're looking for sponsors to help donate some plastic bags, so if anybody wants to help us with that, get started. And if anybody wants to join us from another group, we're going to be at the market on March 19th, so the more the merrier. And if you have one of those skills, that would So that's us in a nutshell. I know we have limited time.
A major issue that affects all of the groups that were up here. So, you know, it took us a little while, but we have come up with some action items, and we're really excited to share those with you all tonight. So, what we've come up with is a food hub. No applause? No. Okay, so basically the idea of the food hub is to get growers together, to get the community together, to get local grocery stores together, to get all these entities together to give people more access to local foods. And so we have some research to do, guys. We actually have homework in our group. I don't know what y'all were doing, but we've got some homework. So one thing that we have to figure out is what is the closest food hub to our area? And that would also include South Carolina. So it's not just about state lines, but it's also about miles. The next thing is the USDA. You all know that they offer a grant to help start these types of things. So in order for us to get access to that money, we have to make sure that we are in close proximity to another food hub. We also are looking to explore Whole Foods as a vendor for approval. Okay, so there's an approval process that people have to go through in order to be a vendor at Whole Foods. Right, Mandy? It's a very strenuous process. So we're going to look into that and see if we can get some of our local growers into Whole Foods, a lot more than what you all already have. The next thing is for us to explore existing partners. So what kind of relationships do we already have with people who are in this room, those people who are outside of this room who haven't been brought to the table just yet? What can those people do for us to get us to this food hub concept in Augusta? And lastly, the next thing for us to do is to examine existing food hub models. So what can we do in our area that has worked in a similar area and we can recreate what they've already done? That's all I have.
And I've not been educated on this, though. Well, our purpose is to educate the community about agriculture, about growing locally. And our action plan, well, we're always in action. So we don't have a specific action plan, but I'll tell you what we did come up with. And I will tell you that we have a lot of dirty-minded people in our group. So if y'all want to go to somebody else, come to a real dirty people, y'all can come upstairs. Okay? But we were talking about soil. We are in the process of making soil because you can't grow anything without soil. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get with the Canal Authority and take all that junk that comes down the Savannah River from the canal, take it from Sibley Mill, and take it and have it composted. So we need your help. If you have any connections with the Canal Authority, let us know. We are making plans to make appointments with Dayton, Strauss, to talk, say, let's have permission to use some of that empty parking space that you have over here to use that green trash that we're paying for. We want to use it for free, give it back to the community, let it go shine, so that we can make the dirt that we need to grow the plants and to educate the kids and everybody else in the community. So that's one part. Another part of the education is helping senior gardens. Seniors need stuff to do. They need to get out of the house. They want to get in. They want to be able to do things. Okay? So we're in the process of helping Ms. Downs, who's with Augusta Recreation Park and Parks. She covers a lot of areas. We're going to help out at McBean and help them do some senior citizen gardens, mainly raised beds so they can have easily accessible. So when they grow their food, all they have to do is go, they don't have to put bags or anything like that. Get themselves. Just helping out in that aspect. Also, that's going to branch out into the other areas as well. And then we've got the workshops and educations. Ms. Kesey? church is doing the Green Sanctuary, the workshop programs. We want to expand on that, but they need volunteers. They need materials, they need volunteers, as every single project in the whole United States needs. But we're the most important. So, that's the, if you have friends, they can't make it to the meetings, but they'd like to donate some of their time. Maybe they have a special team. They make the best tomatoes. They have the largest watermelons. Tell them, hey, why don't you come and talk to us about how did you do it? Well, it takes a couple minutes, and we can have those wonderful workshops and projects to help other people do the same thing. Because it's all working together. We make the dirt, somebody else grows it, somebody else cooks it, and we all enjoy it and get fat like me. So, that in a nutshell is what we're doing.
Thank you very much. Who's next?
Can y'all hear me?
I got some folks in the
I
back.
had the idea about going down to the farmer's market and the open air market on Saturdays and doing either life skill demos, small cooking demos, you know, getting the feel of the people. We've decided that I'm from Harrisburg and I'm into the Grow Harrisburg thing and helping Harrisburg, but Harrisburg isn't the only people that are living in a food desert. Even the people in Evans, they, where there's no public transportation, they have to travel to get to a grocery store, get to Whole Foods. And since the Evanstown Market isn't going to open again this year, where are they going to get local food or healthy farmers' food at? What's farmers going to do on Thursdays? So we've decided that we're going to help. We're going to do transitional eaters. That's people that have the desire, have the want or the need to be taught how to live healthily. We've looked into demos at the farmer's market, which everybody in my class at Helms is, well, not everybody, but 5 of them, which is almost half, is really excited about doing demos. Places like St. Luke's, Red Clay Market, Crawford Avenue Baptist, where they have a large area that people can gather, and we can have either the demos, life skill classes, non-food classes, or food classes, because they all have pretty big areas to cook. We had thought about the targeted audiences, which are the people downtown, the food banks, the soup kitchens. And then we come up with this brilliant idea to make an app that we can link the people at the food banks as they pick up their food, give them a piece of paper telling them all about us and how they can www.us and either have a life skill lesson or a cooking lesson. There'll be places that they can get healthy local food at, a list of what we're doing, the volunteers that are needed to do what we want to do. We thought about the food contests at the veggie market to make it more interesting. But we all have the same goal in mind, and that's to teach people that there's a healthier way to live, especially people that can't afford medical insurance. And you know, we all want to live long, happy, even if we don't prosper.
Most of our efforts are kind of targeted at leading into April 19th when the veggie truck opens up. And we're really excited about that because we really want to advertise in advance. And we just added a few in here at local churches, outside Salvation Army, food banks, soup kitchens, anywhere where we feel like we can bring in the audience that we really want to try, which is this low-income audience. And David, how many churches did you say were in the Harrisburg area?
There are over 30 places of worship, I know that.
Okay, so if we could connect with these churches and these places of worship and try to advertise there, we feel like we can really have a great turnout for Veggie Truck. And we really want to give people access to cheap, very easy recipes that they can get the ingredients from Veggie Truck to make them where they can get their EBT doubled. So having recipes there that they can very easily make, and we didn't even use the word cook, we really use just the word assemble, because these recipes that we want to present to them will be so incredibly easy. We really want to make it just as easy as having to go walk somewhere to buy food or having to get in your car and get it and drive home. So we want to make that much more appealing. Let's see what else I'm missing. But really what they'll have access to is to come to the Veggie Truck and have their vitals taken. What all does that include? What all vitals?
Blood pressure and weight as of right now. I mean, we can get pulse, but
And we'll have dietetic students there, so we can include very basic, BMI, stuff like that.
That'd be great.
Yeah, so we can include some of those nutrition assessment tools within that, and then have a dietetic student right there, so they can go from having their vitals taken right to the next booth and talk to a dietetic student about how we can change that with diet. And then right after that conversation, we have the recipes right there for them to have access to. They can walk to their corner store, get the ingredients and make, or purchase at the Veggie Truck right there. And our efforts won't be isolated to Veggie Truck, but that's a lot of what we talked about tonight, but really getting these very easy, cheap recipes in the hands of people that need them.